Okay, this is my audience. And my mom is on Skype. Whoops, sorry. The laptop. Okay. When looking back 10 years ago, who did you think you were going to be? Where were you going to be? 10 years ago, I myself was only about 10 years old, and a 10-year-old is usually more focused on their next little league game or the next dance recital she may have. And when you ask a 10-year-old, where are you going to be in 10 years, they think, oh, I'll probably still be in college or finishing up some kind of school, just on the brink of entering the real world. And did we truly know who we were going to be 10 years ago? Today? Do we know that answer now? My sources came from marriage.families.com, and the mother quote by Nicole Krauss came from goodreads.com. The interview I had was with my sister, Monica Gibbs, and the working quote from George W. Truitt came from hubpages.com. The career ladder information came from globaltalent.ca. The college graduate statistic came from cbsnews.com. The info on Gandhi came from wikipedia.org. And the intelligence quote by Bertolt Brecht came from thinkexist.com. Okay, I want to be known as, in 10 years, I want to be known as a good wife and mother, a devoted worker, and also as an intellectual and wise person. With these characteristics combined, I believe people would see a role model of an overall good person. Being a good wife and mother, with these characteristics, if I have the characteristics of a good wife and mother, it would make me an overall good person, I believe. The way that I see myself as a good mother, especially, is when I look back on my own mother. And I saw her back 10 years ago with her husband, and I saw a happy marriage, hand holding, and always a kiss goodbye. And so that's what I think I want for my marriage to come. I want to be there for my husband in 10 or 20 plus years, always giving a kiss goodbye before he leaves. I never want him to feel alone. I want him always to know that there is somebody there for him. He has somebody to talk to. And as a good wife, I also want to be seen as a good mother. The quote that I have from Nicole Krauss is, when disapproving word from her was enough to send us off to hide in a corner where we would cry and fantasize our own martyrdom, and yet, when kiss could restore us to princedom, without her, our lives would dissolve into chaos. This quote basically tells me how I want to be as a mother. I want to teach my kids right from wrong, but I also want to show them the love and kindness that they deserve. I love to hear my sister say, you're one of the most compassionate people I know, because this is just one characteristic that proves that I'm on the right direction to becoming a good mother. Another thing, in Germany, when a wife is newly married to her husband, the couple have the option to either take the woman's last name or the man's last name. In Spain, when two people are married, the woman does not change her last name, but her child takes both the mother and the father's name. And in America, everybody knows it's tradition for the wife to take on the husband's last name. This significant name change is just proudly showing the unionship between a new man and wife. And I myself would want to show every last bit of devotion, even if it's as small as changing my last name as well. The devotion I would give as a wife would hopefully be similar to the devotion I would give to my work. But let a man go singing at his work, putting his utmost into it, overflowing with devotion, and sometime he will be at the head of the movement. This was said by George W. Truitt. Characteristics like hard work, patience, and confidence help build a great a great employer. And these characteristics have been proven that you can climb the career ladder if you have these characteristics and they're strong. But I myself want to become a physician assistant, but however, the problem with that is once I graduate college, half of the college graduates today cannot find jobs. This is why it is so important to me that people can see my devotion to my work. I would be willing to cross oceans to go to China to help sick children, or even if it's just as simple as staying here in America, helping just somebody's grandmother in a nursing home, as simple as that. Part of the devotion for my job requires a wide range of knowledge, which brings me to my third point. My third point, I would also like to be known as an intellectual and wise person. I would always be open for questions. I would always want people to come to me if they ever have anything that they're wondering about, any advice that they need, because along with intelligence and wisdom comes respect. I would want to earn people's respect by the advice I have to offer. When you think of Gandhi versus Charlie Sheen, who would you automatically ask for the best advice? Of course you would choose Gandhi. Gandhi was a wise leader who led his people through troubled times, and I myself want to have the same image as that. I want to be someone people look to for guidance, to help them through their troubled times. One day in math class, we were learning a new equation, and the girl sitting next to me was having a problem with hers, and so I offered my help. After I showed her how I solved the problem, she herself was very grateful and always wanted my opinion on how to do the next confusing math problems. And so by this, I would want others to see my thoughts put into actions to show them that I have wisdom to share. When I asked my questions, when I had things I wanted advice on, boyfriends, work, or school, I would go to my sister. And she once told me that when I was worrying something like how the way that I looked, she said, worrying about that stuff only dims your confidence. And when you let your full confidence shine through, it outshines anything that you have to wear. And so I would once that moment had passed, I realized this is the kind of person I want to be. I want to be that person who always has wisdom to share. Intelligence is not to make any mistakes, but quickly to see how to make them good. This was said by Bertolt Brecht. In summary, I want to be known as a good mother and wife. I want to be a devoted worker, and I also want to be an intellectual and wise being. To conclude, the way you act and behave is the way people see you. If you act as the person you want to be, people will see and know you for those characteristics. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And here's my audience again. Hold on. Okay.